What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, who has just basically pooped on any time that anybody brings up UAPs, UFOs, all that stuff. He just is a advocate against it, no matter what. Well, he's doing it again because this time he's talking about Jay Stratton. Jay Stratton, who had said he had seen NHI stuff, and he had talked about it many different times about seeing these things and talking about the reverse engineering and all that. Well, Tyson basically says, you don't know what you saw to Jay Stratton. So joining me on the show here today, again, is Attack Peter. Peter, what's going on, buddy? How are you? What's the latest?
Oh, you tell me, because this one's kind of crazy. I mean, this guy, look, man, I used to love Neil deGrasse Tyson. I still try to enjoy him as a commentator, but damn, sometimes I just feel like he wants to be the villain.
When it comes to this topic, 100%. Like there's other times when you hear him, like it's weird because you hear him talking about like the simulation theory and other things, and he's very much he said, I would be surprised if we're not part of a simulation theory. It's like, he's not one of these guys that is so off the mark that you're like, oh, okay, this guy just hates everything. He just hates everything UAP related. It seems that way. So let's bring this up. In our buddy UAP James, who I would highly recommend going and follow him on X if you haven't. He posts great stories that are happening all the time on the UAP topic. And this one is he clipped this out. So here is said clip.
New documentary premiering this week at South by Southwest. It is called Age of Disclosure. It features some very high-profile government officials claiming that aliens have been here, and there's a secret battle amongst nations to reverse engineer their technology. Can I just show you a quick look at the trailer?
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
Just because you don't know what it is doesn't mean it's alien. It just means you don't know what it is. And the guy who says, I've seen alien parts and things, what he really should be saying is, I don't know what this is. I don't know enough biology to assess what I'm looking at. So therefore, leave it at that. But no, he says, I don't know what it is, therefore it's aliens. No.
Okay, so from that clip alone, because I didn't see the full thing, I will say that Neil deGrasse Tyson comes off like an imbecile. He comes off like a pure imbecile. He doesn't even know who Jay Stratton is. He's a complete imbecile in that clip because he says, oh, the guy who this, he doesn't realize who Jay Stratton is, where Jay Stratton has worked. He didn't just randomly say, hey, I saw a thing and then I think it's alien. This is a guy who has been very much involved in programs who, out of all of the people that we know thus far, is probably the most qualified to say it's alien or NHI.
Yeah, the tone, the dismissiveness, and like you said, the lack of context that either he has or provides in that clip feels like he's towing the line. You know, that like he's like, me doth think you protest too much, or whatever that saying is, that you know, you're going too hard. You know what I mean? Because a reasonable person would be like, well, who is that guy?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You say, well, wait, let me ask you a question before I comment on this. Do we know that gentleman's, what his position was that he said that? Or is that just some random dude who said, I saw this and I don't know what it is? He doesn't. He just sees it and says, oh, that's some random guy who says it. He comes off like a complete moron, and he's not a moron. He's one of the most intelligent people
That's the problem.
Right. This is an idiot statement. This is an idiot statement in the way that he said it. If he would have addressed it in the way that you said, if he would have said, okay, who is this person? Well, this is Jay Stratton. He claims he worked here, 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 and here, and here. And he's like, well, my pushback would be this. I don't know the things that Jay Stratton has seen. I don't know the things that he's done. But the first thing that I would ask is like, are we sure that it's NHI? Are we sure that it's alien? Because maybe you just weren't sure what it was, and the biology and all that stuff, they weren't able to come back with it. Maybe it was something unseen, unheard. We don't know yet. How do we know that you can clarify it as non-human? That would have been an intelligent answer. That would have been an answer of like, oh, okay, well, he doesn't really necessarily know. He doesn't have all the facts. But he sees one clip from a trailer and he says it. His credibility just skyrocketed to the bottom. That's someone I will never listen to ever, because he sounds like a moron.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. So I'm gonna refrain from doing the thing I'm accusing him of doing right now, which is like, I didn't see the full episode. I don't know if it's edited in a way to be more, you know, clickbaity.
Right.
But I know the context of his general predisposition on these things. And yeah, that what you're saying is the issue. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson for me should be someone who is constantly like level-headed about this stuff, willing to talk about it,
And normally with other
explore it.
topics, he is.
Right. And so with this particular topic, he's not. And that does make me think like what's going on here, man? Is
Right.
this guy like read in an interesting way? Is this guy part of the propaganda arm? And they're like, hey, we're not ready to disclose yet, but when we are, you're going to be one of the guys. So just until then, you don't buy it, you know? And then, and again, like the whole context of him on Fox News doing this kind of like quick 3-second clip stuff and
Speaking with Jerry Lawler. Is that not Jerry Lawler?
that's not. I've met Jerry Lawler. That's not Jerry Lawler. But
He got the same jacket.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he took old Jerry Lawler's.
Yeah.
But again, like the idea is like what is he trying to accomplish here? Because I feel like he's trying to be the go-to science demagogue on national television, and Fox covering this and bringing him on is like, hey, we're throwing everything at shutting this down. And I thought that if this documentary has credibility, it's going to then really like pull the ire of all the media arms against it. So I actually think the more pushback we see like this, the more legit the documentary might be.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that you say that. And it's weird because there have been times where whether it's Fox or CNN and MSNBC, they're all covering this and they're just talking about it, like wonder what will be in there. But I still think that for some reason, Neil deGrasse Tyson still has this thing that people go, oh, that's whatever he says must be legit. So if he shuts it down, it is, to people like us, it's not going to hold any weight. But to people who are just tuning into it, it is going to affect them negatively in the way that they're trying to, because they're going to go, oh, he doesn't take this. Why do I care about this documentary? Oh yeah, that documentary, I saw that, but I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson basically shitting on it, so I don't know how.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's the opposite of what we've talked about before, where even though these documentaries that come out don't move the needle for people who are paying attention every day, they do pick up and cast a wider net of the general population that doesn't pay attention and might start paying attention. Neil deGrasse Tyson is the counter to that. So the same way he's not going to turn anybody off who's already pretty like dead set that there's something here going on.
Yeah.
He will, in my opinion, with stuff like this, dampen and cool off the interest and the curiosity of people who are just sitting on the sidelines.
It is curious. Like I hear you say that about, you know, that you start to get more notice on this, and then you get people who are crapping on it. Because when I heard this documentary was coming out, the first thing I did was I got an email about it. Right. First thing I did is, can I have the director on? Can I have Gary Nolan on? Can I have these people on who are in there? Wouldn't the news want somebody who's in it talking about it to get a little more? Well, but I'm just saying that you would hope that was the case. Like, let's not talk to the, because in the same way we're talking about the research of Neil deGrasse Tyson, who doesn't even know who Jay Stratton is, talking shit about him. If this clip is, you know, representative of what the full segment was. But you're going to also blame Jerry Lawler over here too.
He's doing his job.
No, this guy.
But he's literally doing his job. Like this guy.
No. Wait. But the reason why I say that is that he's doing his job right now with the guests that they have. But if I'm this guy, I'm saying, hey, wait a minute. Can we have on somebody from this? Even if this is the thing I've always talked about. Look, they're covering it. That's the win, right? My thing was always, and this is almost the segment that I've always thought about. So let's get Neil deGrasse Tyson on the right side, Jerry Lawler in the middle, and then whoever is in the documentary on the left to combat Neil deGrasse Tyson, to say, well, basically what we're doing here, but who the hell are we? And we say, hey, look, this is who this guy is. And then Neil deGrasse Tyson can fire back, and Jerry Lawler can ask a couple questions going back and forth. And for anybody that's not Jerry Lawler, I don't care. Look at that guy. It's Jerry Lawler. I don't hear about it.
I just think what you're describing is anathema to what they do on these cable channels.
I know.
It's just not what they do. They just need clips. They want their trusted people. You know, Neil deGrasse Tyson is probably doing some kind of a promotional tour, or he's just,
But they do have segments, though, Peter, where they have people like, okay, here's a topic. Let's take a Republican over here. Let's take a Democrat over here. Let's have them go at it and say, well, you know what it is. They do that all the time. Why not do that for this topic too?
I don't think. Well, why not is because I don't think they want the debate on this kind of stuff. Frankly,
somebody doesn't. Somebody doesn't.
That's my point, and I don't think Neil deGrasse Tyson would agree to it. Honestly, like I think if I remember correctly, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson was invited by Joe Rogan to come on and essentially do what you're describing with some other folks. And if I might not be remembering this correctly, but if I remember correctly, it was he's declined to do it. And I'm just saying that I don't think people who are on the side of like this is not a thing worthy of further investigation really want to be put up against people who have lots of potential concrete evidence or, you know, experience that would legitimize their claims, because you can't go head to head with that.
No,
I mean, honestly, like your example is making my point. Like when they do political segments and crosstalk, they usually argue over surface issues and not deep issues. They usually just have like red meat, like media, like a social topical things and nothing core. And it's just they represent that they have people from both sides.
I don't know, man. Again, during the election, there were some pretty heavy topics everybody was kind of debating.
You're never gonna go on cable television with sponsors. You're never gonna go up against big pharma. You're never gonna go against the military industrial complex. You're just gonna debate the edges.
It depends on what it is. I hear you there, but I just think that this is. I think once again with this topic, Neil deGrasse Tyson is the one who should not be listened to. And there are people out there who ask questions and I want people to be very clear on this. It has nothing to do about being a skeptic. I think that's healthy.
No,
I think that you should ask questions and you should ask them in a way of like, again, if they're layered out and detailed, here's my issue with this. My question is, who is Jay Stratton? My question is, where did he work? How does he have the authority to say that they're not alien? Where this? Okay, fine. That's where he worked. Okay, so what about this then? What about this? What about this? Asking these questions, and you don't have to come away with it saying, "Oh, I'm convinced now." You can say, "Oh, he had some answers, and I don't know if I'm still there." But he shoots this down like the guys like Jay Stratton, some kind of dope that they just found off the street, and because of that, Neil deGrasse Tyson has absolutely no credibility for me whatsoever in this scenario.
No, in this arena, I truly believe, and I say this with no disrespect, that he's a tool. Whereas, you know, you're a skeptic.
Useful idiot. Idiot.
You're a skeptic, like in my opinion. Like you're not a skeptic, but you have a healthy skepticism over a topic that you're interested in it being true, but you're still coming at it from a place of, and me too, by the way, like of I don't want to just buy in. I feel that the urge in myself to just want to buy in, and because of that, I want to just go take a real deep breath. But these guys are coming like from a religious, like evangelical standpoint of it's definitely not real. And I will start from that point every single time.
What do you think? Do you think that Neil deGrasse Tyson is right? Do you think that, hey, who the hell is this guy? He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Or is his credibility so lost with you like it is me, and you just can't take him credible when it comes to this? Put all your thoughts in there. Let me know. As I say in every video, if you want to help out the channel, obviously commenting and liking helps tremendously. If you want to become a member, you can do that. But I got to tell you about Ridge. Ridge is one of the best wallets I've ever found in my life. I love Ridge so much. I'm going to tell you about them, and then I'll see you real soon. Bye. I had a big, bulky, stupid wallet for a while, but now I don't. Why? Because I discovered Ridge. I didn't really know about Ridge. Now I found out about them. I love them. I didn't like that big stupid thing that I had before because it was just so bulky and I could feel it like weighing me. I felt like I weighed like 5 extra pounds. What's great about these is that they're unique. They have a slim, modern design and it holds a lot of cards. Plus, kashish. So what's so great about Ridge is they make it with premium materials. It's got aluminum, it's titanium, it's carbon fiber, and it doesn't take up your entire pant. I always want to say pant. That's what it takes up. It takes up your pant. Over 50 plus colors and styles to choose from. I got the Giants one. You do the personalized ones or your teams. I took the New York Giants and I love them. They have a lifetime warranty. It's easy. It is literally the last wallet that I think you're ever going to have to buy. It's like Wolverine had a wallet. So over 100,000 5-star reviews, and if losing your wallet is the worst feeling in the world, but the beauty with the Ridge is they have an air tag attachment, so you always know exactly where it is before your panic mode kicks in. No matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all of their products. So Ridge is having their once-a-year anniversary sale. You get off to 40% off at ridge.com/DTE. If you head on over to ridge.com/DTE to see their biggest sale of the year, you will not regret it. After you purchase it, they're going to say, hey, where did you hear about us? You got to tell them that Kristian over at DTE sent you. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Ridge, you're going to love it.